Visit Elias Restaurant, a unique Greek Caribbean fusion restaurant where the food is heavenly, the service divine, and the ambience mesmerizing. Enjoy bakes and saltfish, roti, jerk chicken, curry chicken, stew fish, oxtail, curry goat, stew turkey, pea soup, cow-foot soup, sorrel beer, ginger beer, Slovakia dinners, clubhouse sandwiches, and so much more. Visit Elias Restaurant, located at 3310 Keele Street in Toronto, Canada. Hello and welcome to Caribbean House Talk. And Caribbean House Talk, we always aim to bring you the issues from funny to curious and even tearfully serious. Today on our panel we have 6 ladies because we have the lovely Deanne with us, and we'll get to who Deanne is and what she does a little bit later on in the show. And as usual, we always start off with our spicy dish segment. So, hi ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
Are we ready to roll into our spicy dish section? Now, I must give a bit of a disclaimer, and that is that the spicy dish segment is not really appropriate for young children. So if you have young children in the room, this would be a time to have them leave the room. All right, so in today's spicy dish, we always try to default to we always try to put things to the guest host first, as a courtesy. So since Deanne is your Deanne Brown Harrison, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so since she's our guest host today, we're gonna have her pick out our first spicy dish topic. And spicy dish, we just pick issues that are a little bit provocative, a little sexy, and we never know what's gonna come out. So, well, I kind of know what will come out because I kind of stuck them in there, but you don't know what's gonna come out. So, I'm gonna have Deanne pick out our first topic from spicy dish.
Wow.
She's like, wow.
The topic is, would you allow someone else to raise your child if you're capable of raising them?
Okay, so if you have children, someone, your spouse, maybe even a family member, would you allow them, you're not on Skid Row, you're not sick, would you just give your kid up to somebody else to be raised? Are there circumstances that might dictate that for you, or is that a no-no?
It's
Anybody?
a no-no for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I raised them myself, but that's a no-no for me. I don't think I should have somebody else raising my kid.
That's a big no-no. I would not do that either. That's your children. You have to hang with them, do what you have to do for your children.
And you're capable.
Yes,
You're capable.
You're capable of taking care of your kids, whether or not economically or what the problem might be.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to work around that and provide for your children. Your children, don't let them be someone else's responsibility when you could, do it yourself.
I remember in my second marriage that my ex and I, when it was, obviously there were some issues there, and he said, well, you can give him to me and I'll take him to St. Vincent and I'll bring him back every summer, and I said, you, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not even a question there. Again, if I was sick, if I was homeless, something like that, I could see myself doing that, but I will not be having someone raise my child when I'm capable. And in any age, but I had my child, I was almost 45. So I wasn't going to have my one son and give him up to somebody just because,
And it does something to the mother. Secretly, silently, it
And the child.
does a lot to,
And
it
the child.
erodes.
Yeah.
It erodes that heart. It does.
You expect daddy may give you up,
Yeah.
but not mom.
Mm-mm.
You don't expect
You
mom to
can't
give
give
you
it
up.
to children.
Well,
Can't.
my opinion of it is, as long as you have your health and strength and your mental faculties, your child, there's a psychological effect that's going to affect your child for the rest of their life. And that can spiral into other things later if they don't come to terms with it and get some form of professional counseling for it. But as a mom, I have 2 kids, 2 adult children of my own that I've raised and a grandson. And one of the things I know is you can never replace your mom. There are certain chemical and physical and mental and spiritual connection that you have with your child that you just, to give that away unwilling, there's no reason for it. So I just
And again, we go back to you're capable of. We're not saying, oh, you're sick or something. So, you've got one child, Amalfi.
I do, and I would if it was my mother. I think my mother, there's something special about my mother, and I'm the woman that I am today because of her. And when it's hard for me to raise my son, and I always go back to her, and I ask myself, how did she do it? How was she so calm? How was she so giving? How was she so understanding? I don't think I have all those qualities. So if there was one person and I will be telling the truth, it would be my mom.
But even if you're capable of?
Even if I'm capable of, and she was to offer. Because I want my son to feel the way that I feel today. And I don't know that he will with the way I'm raising him. I try. I go back to those instances where I said, how did my mother handle this when she was going through with me? Because we have similar personalities, my son and I. And yes, I will do it.
Well, you know, I mean, I already raised my kids, my husband and I, so, you know, no brainer. But I guess, like Amalfi said it, I think most of us, we would trust our mothers, you know, to if we couldn't do it, for the most part, we might trust our mothers. I would trust my mom. But I when you said that, there are all kinds of circumstances. You can still be capable. I have a family member, she had 2 children already. And when she had a 3rd kid, which was like maybe 12 years after the other 2, the second husband that she married, they ended up divorcing in less than a year. And I don't know how, it was bad. I won't get into details, but she needed to move out the state and he wouldn't allow her. He was like, you're not going to take my child. So in that case, she did have to leave one with him, you know, and saw him, you know, periodically as a non-custodial. So there are situations you're still capable, but, you know, anything can happen. I know even my own mom, she was raised by her grandmother and so on. I can think that was a pattern when you come to another country and all. Sometimes things like that happen. So
in the Caribbean, it's not unusual that a grandmother or a great aunt or somebody might keep your children so you can go off. A lot of these women, they don't have a husband who's supporting them, so they may have to go to this country or to England or to Canada to make a living, and grandma or auntie or somebody might take care of the child. In that case, yeah, there are circumstances in which that would happen for me. If I am sick, if I am economically deprived and homeless or really in a bad way, if I had to go somewhere and had to leave the children behind, or if I just feel like the spouse is overall a better parent, okay? And my not giving my son to, or agreeing to give my son to my ex-husband is not that he's a bad dad, because he's not. But it was just, I didn't go through having a child at 44, almost 45 years of age, to turn him over to you, you know? I wouldn't do that for you, but you're making a choice. If you want to go back to St. Vincent, go back to St. Vincent, but you're not taking my child with me. So there are circumstances, you know, there are circumstances where that is, that would happen, or it's acceptable, or you don't have a choice, but that's not, I would be afraid that the kid would resent me, because kids don't adapt nicely to their mothers giving them up.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree.
I have friends that are from the Caribbean. I mean, I could speak from my own experience. At the age of 1, my mom left me and came to the States, and then she came back and got me at the age of 5. And my grandparents were my mom and dad, and I thought they really were my biological mom and dad. And it was very traumatic to leave them to come to, you know, another family. But besides that, I have cousins who the same experience. The difference is my aunt didn't go back and get her kids until they were adults, and their lives spiraled out of control. Their adult life, they were always had abandonment issues. When they should abandon a relationship or a situation, job that's not right, relationship that's not right, they stayed in it because they wanted to be a part of. So they all had their own issues, and then the other one didn't connect to anyone, you know, just could not commit. As I said, if you don't get some kind of psychological coming to terms with, okay, what happened here, and here's why mom had to leave, and why didn't mom come back and get me after she established herself, you know. So it's for me personally, I wouldn't give my kid to my mom either. I personally don't. She's a great person. I put her on a pedestal that I can't touch because of the things that she has done in her life, sacrificing as a mom. and as a stepmom. But as far as raising my child the way how I was raised, I would not agree to that style of raising my child the way my mom raised me.
I agree. So, again, there are ways that might dictate somebody have to give their child up. And at the end of the day, it's what's best for the child. But I just always feel once I'm capable, that I'm what is best for my child. But if I was a mother who had a drug problem, drinking, just not the motherly type, I would hope that I wouldn't be selfish enough to just hold on to the child for holding on to the child. All right, so we're going to move to this side of the table to get another spicy dish item up for discussion.
Me? Okay, here we go. Should women have to pay alimony?
Should women have to pay alimony? Maybe I'm being sexist, but I feel that I grew up with a father. I grew up with a father who was a man, took care of family, and they didn't get divorced. He died. They were still married. But I could not ever see my father looking for my mother. She was in a better position to pay him. But having said that, that's probably because we had men who were the breadwinners, and the women were often the housewives or in the secondary position in terms of income earning, and so they were not going to be. What are you going to try to get? There was nothing to get. Now you have the me and the Dion and the Amalfi and the Caroline and the Irma and Hyacinth, a woman who have made her own accomplishments, who do have something to take, okay, and that could present a problem. We're seeing more and more where men are looking to get money from women. And I think that again is conditional. Let's say in the divorce you get the kid. You've been the one who's been the nurturing person who's taking care of the child, and you're the male, and the woman is in the position financially. Well, in that case, you wouldn't even have to fight me because my child is with you. I want to make sure they're okay. But you personally trying to get money from me as a man, I think I just have an issue with that. Maybe it's just my upbringing. I don't see it. Like, you're looking to take me for money. As a man, go get your own money. But I don't agree also that women should try to clean a man out for money when there's a divorce either. But we see but that's still acceptable because after the woman is one who with the child, she's the one with the house, and she has those expenses associated with the family. So I could see that a husband would want to make sure his children, not so much the ex-wife, but the children are okay. But I can't see a male trying to get money from a female, except for gold digging purposes. That's just my opinion.
Well, you know what though? Because again, here we go. Because we women, we fight for equal rights on everything. Okay? Mm-hmm. And while I don't like it leaves a bad taste in my mouth to hear a man taking alimony. If it were in the reverse, you'd say a totally different thing.
So have we put ourselves in a bind with the equal white stuff?
Yeah. I think if all things equal, right? We're saying to my lady's point, all things equal. But think of the situation. If you build together is one thing. If you are always the breadwinner and the provider, so now this individual came into the relationship with you, became one with you, they're used to a certain type of living, a certain standard, a certain lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And they may not have the financial, the educational, the success to maintain that lifestyle, but yet you've been in it for a long time. I'm not speaking about someone who's only been married 3-4 years. I'm talking 20 years in, and this is what you're used to. And I think it's all, in all fairness, if the situation warrants it, why not share it? Because for 20 years, that's your support system. That's the person that's been there for you, with you, and this is what they're used to. So I think the alimony should come in place then. But I'm not a component of alimony for someone, they see you 3-4 years, 5 years, divorce is over, take care of me. No, you're a man, go take care of yourself. And I'm not into that either. Take care of yourself. You're a man, that's what you're supposed to do.
Because I just think for me, I would feel I can't even relate to a male where he's not taking care of certain things. That I don't care how much I say I love you, that's going to go clean out the window. I wouldn't have, after a while I'm going to lose respect for you. And I can't, okay.
We're conditioned.
We have male in the audience. So
we're conditioned that way. We're conditioned to say the man is the breadwinner, the man is the provider, they're the, but if you go back to why did we get married? We got married, we became one. And, anything can happen throughout the relationship. You hit gold, and you're the one that now your salary goes from 100,000 to 500,000. His salary is still 100,000 or 80,000. That's your support system. That's someone's been with you. They've been there riding with you the whole time. Now you get 20 years in and something doesn't work out for whatever reason. I feel it's just like with us women, the white picket fence and the house, that's not reality. Mm-hmm. So the tables have turned. Reality is what we've got to start looking at. And I teach my girls that. Listen, all things are not always equal, but all things can be equal when it doesn't appear that it should be. Mm-hmm. So I just have a different perspective.
I had, I have to intro some of my little things in here. I had 2 marriages. The first one, we were kids. We got married at about 21. And we built what we had together, Didn't walk out down the road, but I had no problem giving him some money out of the property because he did work 3 jobs at one point to try to save money so we can get the house and get the closing fees and all of that stuff. So I felt like this was someone, and we were together for 16 years. Okay. I never felt anywhere about that. The second marriage, he comes and he spent 10 years, but that's with me paying all the bills, with fighting and screaming. And when he was about to go, he felt that he was going to try to get money out of me. And I said, absolutely not. Because you were not there, like you said, you were talking about somebody who's there with you, ride or die, paying the bills, you guys have, yes. In a case like that, had he been somebody who was paying bills, who was being responsible, I don't think I would have fought him hard. I would have given him something and say, here, But when you have contributed nothing, you came in, you hang your hat up, and then you're trying to take what I have, I don't think so. Yeah. So that's a part of it where I have a problem. But I don't think if you both work together and you both have accomplished certain things together, he's been there paying bills, taking care of stuff, you should give him something. He shouldn't have to walk away with nothing just because he's a male. But I think for me, the beef is with the ones who come in to contribute nothing and probably saw you as a meal ticket from day one and want to walk out with their pocket full. And I'm like, no, you're not going to do that.
Sometimes that's the reason why they go in there
in the first
anyway.
place.
Yeah.
Somebody said something to me at work this week that had me laughing. He said, it was a guy. He said, you ladies, you better be careful. He said, do you know there are a lot of men out there who are homeless, who dress up? They got enough money to dress up. Come and target you just so they can get a place to live. And I thought, wow. I said, well, at first I'm thinking he's talking like a bummish. I'm like,
no,
he wouldn't be attractive. He said, no, they're professional. They would dress up nice. They would talk a big talk. They got this job. They got that. They may even have a decent car, and they're looking for a place to live free.
And benefits.
Yeah, exactly. With benefits, exactly. So
I went. I was married for 17 years, and I pay alimony, and it was a lump sum because I didn't want to drag it out. But I am so thankful that I did. There was no fight. There was no emotional distress on my part. I'll do it again.
But he was there with you.
He was there with me. Financially, he wasn't apart with me. It wasn't the same. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to give this to him because I want peace of mind. I wasn't even thinking about him. I was thinking about me and my son. And I knew that the money will come back some way. And it did. So the people that think that money, that they go to court and they spend 5 years in court, that's a lot of emotional distress. And you're not going to be able to concentrate, let's say, on a new job or maybe something that you have passion for and that you can earn that money. And I don't agree with, I live in a neighborhood where most of the women, they get alimony. I don't agree with that. I really think that if you have...
But you gave your husband alimony, so why should these women not?
Well, because it's coming, they always think they're entitled, that it's coming from the man. No, now he's going to take care of me. It's more a revenge rather than, okay, our kids need the money. Or they have a 50-50 custody. And then the man is still paying. I really don't agree.
Well,
Well, you know, I
50-50
think
custody.
Trish-
That woman has that house to keep a roof over that child's head, clothes, food. We do have the bulk of the expenses when there's a divorce. You know?
Well, it depends because
Yeah.
if you have 50-50 of the most of the ladies that I know, they have 50-50, and I think it's only fair that if the relationship ended, he shouldn't be taking care of you anymore. Maybe as part of the divorce agreement, if you want to divide the
Assets.
properties or assets that you had, I agree with that, but not after.
Yeah, it's funny she said that because I too was a child bride and was married for a good 10 years. I have adult children and I'm remarried, and you learn better the second time. But with me, I didn't take alimony. All I wanted was, I'm going to bring you in and make you pay child support because you neglect to do what you're supposed to do for a period of 1 year. I gave you 1 year. And once I got to that 1 year, I went into the courts. But now what I did not do was, I never, every 3 years they give you that cost of living increase, never took an increase. My entire time. And when my eldest daughter became of age and we went to the courts to take her off, the judge said to me, wow, I made more money than he did. You make more money, but you never came for increase. So what she did was, I thought they were going to reduce the money because now it's only one child versus my kids they're 6 years apart. And what the judge said was keep the money the same, and we'll take your eldest off, but we're going to keep the dollars the same because you never came for an increase. And he was okay with it. He told his entire family, my ex-wife took me for child support, but she really was just teaching me a lesson because I was being angry and irresponsible, and she never asked for an increase. So it helped some younger men who were in the situation, like his nephews. And his nephew just hated women who did child support. And when he told his nephew, he said, but Dion took me for child support. He was like, He said, yeah, but here's what she didn't do. It wasn't about the money. It was about making me do what I was supposed to do and I should have done anyway. And she never asked for an increase. So the nephew called me and said, I can't believe you didn't ask for an increase. It's been many years. Because it's not about the money, like she said. Sometimes you got to look past the money. It's about being responsible, doing what you're responsible to do. But I hear what you're saying when it comes to someone who, now you're going to take care of me. Because I've been here all this time. It's all emotional.
It's all
roller
emotional.
coaster.
It's just,
and it's wasted energy.
And the alimony and the child support are very different.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. Child support should never be looked at as a thing of vengeance. You have a responsibility to your child, and you should pay something. Even if you only make, I don't care if you make $10, give $2. Somehow you should have some responsibility and link to your child. The alimony, again, like I said, if you want a woman to pay when she makes more, it's going to happen in the reverse because it's not fair. You have to expect that.
Right.
And Amalfi was very lucky because hers was a very amicable divorce.
Right.
Okay? So, from her perspective and her willingness and all that, which is great, it worked out because it was a friendly thing. I think I shouldn't say, but yours might have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, mine dragged on for 5 years. The first
Mine
time.
wasn't friendly either. It's just that I
Right.
just refused to do certain things, and I refused to be manipulated in certain ways.
Right.
But it was not friendly. He was friends with my husband now before he was friends with me.
Oh.
'Cause he figured his whole thing is it's
Sounds like a
clinical
whole nother
psychological.
story.
He
We
was
gotta go
like,
back on the show and talk about that.
yeah, so he figured, this is the man that's going to take care of my children, and he's going to be in their lives. I better get to know him. I already know her, I guess, and he's still mad at me. So whatever, it all worked out, but it wasn't friendly.
My first marriage dragged on for 5 years, and then I never asked for an increase, just like you, and the court actually recommended one. And when he got the letter, he said, well, I'm going to go into court. I said, I'd like to catch you in the courthouse. All them back child support that I didn't get, because I never asked for one. If they're offering a little $8 more, you're stupid enough to, so he didn't go. I said, I want to catch you there. I want to go back as far as they would let me go back and have you prove your income. The second husband, let me say this, my second ex-husband, he has been a good father to our child. He has increased that money as we went along. I think he increased it about twice already. I never took him to court. The court was actually asking me to put it in the divorce agreement. I said, I'm going to let him make that payment into my account. And as long as he keeps his end of the bargain, I have no problem with it. He has never failed. Every week, I get my money. There's an increase. You get my money. Sometimes I want him to do something extra. He might fight me a little bit, but eventually, you know. So, and that he's a better person now since the divorce than he was before in terms of his being responsible, you know. And I don't have any beef with him. I'm good. I've moved on.
Well, I was married for 17 years. And all that you're talking about, I never had that experience.
Mm-hmm.
When we decided to go apart, he gave me all the bills in an envelope, the key to the house, and that was it. I never had, what do you call it?
Alimony?
Alimony. I never asked for anything.
What about child support?
Never got it.
Ooh.
And my children, they lived. They were all right. I worked. They understood that, oh, it's mother alone now, so this is how it's going to be. And thank God it worked out, you know?
Wow.
No,
Yeah.
I never asked for a dime.
Nowadays,
When I got the divorce, the judge put a certain amount that he should give me monthly. I never got it. And I never fought for it. I never asked the question. I knew that at that point I had to go along and take care of my kids. And that's all that interested me. And that's what I did. Thank God.
yeah.
The same
Nowadays,
thing, it's same thing with me
Nowadays.
with child support. There was an amount stipulated in the divorce agreement, but I never took it to court.
well, I'm sorry, but in my lifestyle and what my kids were used to, I refused to take them down a notch or two or three. I refused to struggle because it takes two to tangle. And I felt in today's time, the way how things were, back in my time anyway, it was very hard. And it pushed me to do better and to double and triple my salary. But I felt, you know what? You have a responsibility, and if it takes the court to make you do it, then so be it. All the other things, and what God puts out there is He makes you stronger and put you through certain things for a reason. I needed to probably go through that myself to make me stronger and step out of my comfort zone of the job that I was in for 7 years, not making the money. And as soon as I left, I tripled my salary. So a lot of things came my way, but I felt it doesn't matter. I put my pride, everything aside, because it hurt me to the core to ask for money and to go to that court. It hurt me to the core. But I put it aside because my two girls are more important, and I'm going to put them ahead. Because I got that Caribbean thing in me too. And it's not, it's good and it's bad if it's not controlled, and I made him do it.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is, with my ex, he really was not contributing anything. And I think that's why my thing was like, if he doesn't give, it's no change, right? But he did surprise me and really did grow up and started to. Sometimes we mother these men, and because we allow them. When you're letting someone live in your house 10 years and you're just arguing about whether he should pay a water bill or a light bill, you're enabling him, and that should have never gone on that long. But you have a kid, you're trying to make it work. In Mafi's case, you're making more of the money as well. But if it came to the point where my child was going to have to step down in standard, oh yes, we were going to court for child support. Oh yes,
Thank God that's not my case.
Yeah.
And what happens? What do you ladies think? What happens when the guy is not making enough money?
well, that's different.
I'll be honest with you.
My father,
Yeah.
No,
we work together.
Things happen.
It happened. Look at my Jojo. I wouldn't trade him for anything in the world. I mean, for everything I've been through, everything. I didn't think at that age I would have a child much as a son. I always wanted a son. I had one daughter. So he was a miracle. And I look at it this way. That was probably God's reason for bringing us together.
Yeah.
So when it didn't work out, I had means to take care of my son. I had gone through that before. I'd raised one daughter by myself from the first marriage. So this was not unknown territory. I knew that I was going to be okay. But if his standard of living was going to go down, I would have definitely taken him to court. So it depends on circumstances, I think. Well, we know you're happily married, Miss Weiss. But if you were going after child support a little bit, because they're kind of intertwined. But alimony. If you were in a situation where you were divorcing your ex, your hubby, not ex, you never divorced. But if your hubby was divorcing you, or you divorcing him, and he wanted alimony, what say you?
It depends. It depends because my money would not be coming up my hands so freely and easily.
Well, you may not have a choice, honey. The court may say.
It depends.
She has a fashion,
If I have
entity.
if I have this fashion entity and he was part of it, fine.
He's a supportive spouse. He's a
Work
wonderful
for that.
husband. So
He is, but it depends, and it depends on what he did while we have to get the divorce. Because if it's any kind of,
There we
he did nothing. It all depends on how the thing go. All depends. That's why I can't say much because I've never done that. I've never been in that place. But if I ever find myself in that place and I have this empire and I have this, and he work with me and we build something together, fine. But then also, if it's something that he have to go, that I find out that he was doing and this happened and this person there, no, he ain't getting nothing.
Oh no, the spite said it.
Oh no. Right?
All right,
Right.
so I'm going to have Miss Caroline Mitchell Davis pick our next spicy dish. Oh no, you don't. Put it back. You know what you got to do? The twirl. She does the twirl
Losing
thing. I'm
my
like,
touch here. Okay. All right. Okay. This is spicy. Okay. Would you sleep with an uncircumcised male?
ooh.
How would you know if he's circumcised or not?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Oh,
She has flesh on.
And it has.
So why
Okay, let me tell you.
Fiction.
Let me tell you what my boy say. My boy say, if you're circumcised, you're catching a cold. If you're not circumcised, you have a sweater on. Meaning the foreskin is still on there, and that could trap a lot of bacteria because it's not clean.
Why are you going to look there to look for skin?
Well, first of all, you may not even have to look there. You may have a conversation. Listen, if I'm getting ready to sleep with you, I'm going to find out if you're circumcised. Okay? And I know if you're circumcised. I mean, why would you want to know?
That's
That's
what
what I was gonna say. You gotta ask those
Why not
questions.
Ask that question.
I would ask.
How would you
I
do
would
Ask
that?
that question.
You
Listen,
know,
That's not even something
let
I
me
need
take
to
a look
think
at
about.
it.
If I'm, listen, listen.
Exactly.
Listen, no, I'm not taking a
So,
look.
oh, I clean it.
Here's my thing. Guys, I don't think any of us here are the kind of woman just meet a man and go to bed with them. So you're with somebody, you're talking, you're getting to the point where you're about to get busy. You're thinking of it, you're flirting, you're touching, you're whatever. So you know you're going there. So you wouldn't ask, I would say, are you circumcised?
Oh no, that's a killer.
No,
that
no.
would make that thing go down so fast.
What?
So you stop.
You don't ask that?
Not at that time.
Why do you want to ask
At that
Not
time,
at that
he
time.
will go down so fast.
No, we wouldn't even know. Listen. Not when you're getting ready to do the thing. I'm saying, you in your conversation, when you're starting to get to the point where you're flirting and you're talking sexually to each other, you should ask, are you circumcised?
Then he's not calling you again.
I don't care.
No,
I have a right.
Fancy asking a question.
I cannot do that. You
Well,
can't do
yeah,
that.
I asked him
Interesting.
over dinner.
Listen,
Dinner.
Let me hear what Deanna has.
conversation leads to discussions. As
Thank you.
discussions and conversations arrive, different things
Yes.
come up. And somewhere along that line, before you get to that marker, you're going to know.
Thank you.
Because it's going to come up somewhere where
Yeah, that's what I'm
the door's
saying.
going to
You go
open
to
and you're
dinner,
going to walk
You
in at
probably
some
have
point.
different conversations at dinner.
Right.
So you know the person, right then and there, a little of the,
Yes.
what's going on with them. You don't wait until that
You're getting it
occasion.
better, yes.
But you
Listen.
you have an idea.
When you're sitting there and he's holding out your hand like this and, hey baby, this and that. Ask those questions. I wonder if you're circumcised. Now, don't get me wrong. Being from the Caribbean, I've slept with many, I haven't slept with that many. I've slept with several. Y'all know I will keep it honest. But I've slept, I think, I'm not going to expose anybody.
Yeah, don't expose them.
No, you don't want to do that. Because, my exes, they would want to, I don't want to blemish them out there, but I've slept with several guys who were not circumcised. And that is not uncommon in the Caribbean.
Right.
Here it is common. It's not uncommon that men are not circumcised. What I think I would have an issue with is how clean that person is with that foreskin, because that could trap a lot of bacteria and introduce it to you. So I think, not that I wouldn't sleep with an uncircumcised male, but I would have to know what I'm getting into, watch his kind of habits, and make sure he understands that you're going to have to clean this thing up really good. I'm not... I'll clean it for you.
Okay, let's see if the conversation doesn't come up.
Yeah. If you want to go there, you shouldn't even be sleeping with him. Because you're not supposed to be washing nothing or asking no questions.
Listen.
That's a big flat line right there.
You're worried about flat line and worried about my health.
Because guess what? Then don't go with him.
Well, what happens if he uses a condom?
If he uses a
though?
condom, you don't have to
What
worry.
Well, I'm talking...
I don't want no condom.
No. Listen.
You're going flat.
No.
She's not crazy.
I am not doing
And
that.
then if it's a condom, then you have nothing
I
to
have
worry
nothing to
about.
worry about. But
Then you
relationship.
shouldn't even ask
But
questions.
Let me say this, but relationship progress to the point where people are exclusive and they don't necessarily use a condom. That's when the cleaning part will come. I'm paranoid. I'm gonna have to clean it.
Listen, by the time...
But otherwise you keep using a condom. Also,
please.
I'm of a certain age where the condom sometimes prohibits men of that age from the sensation that they need to keep arousal.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Well,
but,
okay. You know,
Suppose you're a young woman in your 20s. You're gonna go there?
The thing is,
Well,
young women
we should teach
nowadays,
young women
I'm
to
gonna
go
tell
there.
you, young women nowadays, because I have a lot of young friends. I got friends 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s,
Then
whatever.
go there.
That conversation already been had.
Yeah.
These young
And-
people
and-
do
and-
not
and you
know
need to have-
holds bar because they're in a different realm of life.
Right.
Than
There's
what we
so
do.
many
Right.
diseases and things
and
that
you
they're
should have them
born
tested.
into. They're not even, they don't have to go out and contract anything. They were born into it. HIV
Right.
is something that some young people are born
Yeah.
into from their parents.
Mhm.
They didn't bring it into this world. That they were born into the world. So conversations have to happen with these young
yeah.
people.
Okay,
But
fine.
it
That's
opens
a
the door
different
for
story.
all of those
There.
discussions.
But when you are my age or your age or whoever it is, and you're dating someone, like, say like you have a divorce and you're going out with people, or you was in a relationship before and you're going out with somebody else.
Then
that-
use a condom.
Fine, that's what I was going
Right.
to get to. But
And get tested
If that's the
for all
case-
the potential
if
things.
that's the case, what you should do is, then you wouldn't even know either anyway, because there's some nasty clean people out there.
Okay.
But
That's an
Yes.
oxymoron.
but
That's
you
real.
have to protect yourself if that's what is gonna happen. I would not ask anybody if they have that skin on. I wouldn't.
What's the big deal?
I would not.
I wouldn't
I
either.
just
I wouldn't
personally,
either.
I would not. I would take my precautions. I would take care
Well,
of
I am going to
myself.
take my
I
precautions. Let me
was-
say
Wait,
Change the
wait
proportion.
a minute. Wouldn't a man tell you because it's out of
No,
the norm? Like
No.
because here
Yeah, but
in the
that's
US
his
most
norm,
men
though.
are
Not
but when you're here
necessarily.
it is out of the
In
norm because
America,
if
yes.
you're, right because she's here and she meets a man here in America, so his assumption would normally be that she may not be used to a man who has who's uncircumcised, so he would bring it up. You wouldn't necessarily bring it up, right? Okay,
if he
so
didn't, I will find out.
okay,
But let me say this. I think you guys are thinking I'm thinking when you just they're dating and you meet somebody. That is not, because you ain't got no business out there having
No,
unprotected sex with anybody when you just out there dating and having your fun. And you also should always be getting tested for diseases, STDs, AIDS, herpes, what have you. You should always be getting tested for those things. You should always be using a condom. But I'm saying when you get to the point where you like this guy, he likes you, things are going well, you've gotten your test, you've been using a condom, now you're gonna get to a place where you might want to go in the raw. Just say. If it is, honestly, in this day and age, I can't really see myself trusting anybody to do that. I didn't even trust husbands to do that, to tell you the truth, to go in the raw. But I'm saying if you get into the point where everybody's different, when the relationship progressed, you like each other a lot, things are going well, would you then, and you find out this guy is you yourself want to go into raw. Let's say you know this guy, he ain't going nowhere. You know, we're committed, we're married, we're whatever. Well, we're getting ready to get married. We want to do this thing. We don't necessarily want to always keep a condom on. We already got tested. He don't have no disease. I don't have no. We're not worried about getting pregnant. No, I might want to know, is there a little foreskin there? And would I trust him that he might even know how to clean it properly? Or do I want to get that stuff out and clean it for him?
You're so damn wicked.
I'm just saying.
Can you explain what are the risks? Because
well, one of the things, and I think we need to do a show on it, there is a correlation between cervical cancer and uncircumcised males. And I don't think it's just
Really?
I don't think it's just the uncircumcision of males itself. What it is that foreskin tend to trap bacteria. That when you're pushing and going into the cervix, into the woman's genitalia, it's introducing bacteria there, and that bacteria could cause. Has been shown to have some correlation with cervical cancer. Let me say this regarding uncircumcised male and correlation and this and that. This is not anything that I can prove. This is a study that was done, and again, I don't think it's a case of you uncircumcised, somebody's going to get cervical cancer if they sleep with you, because like I said, most of the guys I've slept with were uncircumcised and I'm fine. But there's a study that shows that if people that there's some correlation there, and I think it has to do with like bacteria and stuff getting this. So it's about cleanliness, I think, more than anything else. It's not somebody have a foreskin and they're going to be. People just have to be sensible and practice safe, clean hygiene, be hygienic in terms of their dealings with each other. You got to clean yourself properly. But let's not forget, women have body parts that oozes stuff, and if we don't.
We gotta clean.
We gotta clean it. If we don't clean it could have an odor. It could
both ways.
There's the man of bacteria too. So it's not fair to the man to just say that. Right. It's just about cleanliness. It's not about you're not circumcised and you're gonna get no. But it's about cleanliness. But there is this belief out there that there's some correlation if people are not being clean and things like that. So don't shoot the messenger.
So would you know, like, you could actually feel it and. Like that there's extra skin or something?
When it gets erect, you don't feel it because the skin goes back.
Okay.
But let's say he didn't clean it. I'm just saying.
I'm curious now. He's talking about
it. If a male is not circumcised, when he gets erect and the skin, because remember you have this smaller thing that's protruding out. Yeah. And when it protrudes out, the skin naturally comes back. So when you see an erect male penis who's not circumcised, it doesn't look any different. Much different than the size. Right. You can tell when it's not erect, but when it is erect, you don't really tell the difference. So it's really all about them cleaning it properly. And you making sure that your man is being clean. And you ladies, you want to clean down there good too. Don't go try to get all thing with some man about him cleaning and you don't want to clean yourself.
So this may become a question for me when I go out. No, on the second stage of dating.
Yes,
circumcised, but are you?
You will be on dry docks for months. You better don't do that.
You know, ladies, you have to listen. Don't listen to her. Listen, you have to do the Trish thing. You don't just come out and say, "Are you circumcised?" You don't do that. You know what you want to do is have a conversation, then lead there. You know, my little nephew, his mother decided not to circumcise. What do you think about that? That might give you the answer you want without you saying, "Are you circumcised?"
That's where you started though.
No, you don't know.
Third or fourth.
You don't do that.
Come boldly and ask these people these questions because dry docks for you. They ain't coming back.
Well, or you might say
that. I wouldn't say that.
It
depends on the person.
You just
have to use your
It depends on the person and the circumstance.
And things spread, they're going to talk. See
Yeah.
that automatically?
Who cares about that? It's your health you're talking about. I don't care if people think. And listen, if you're going to break up, if you're going to break up with me, if you are going to break up with me regarding something like that, then this relationship was not really solid.
It has no foundation.
Right? So that's my thing. We have an article here where it says male circumcision cuts women's cervical cancer risk 2 years later, the female partner of the men who remain uncircumcised were more likely than the partners of the circumcised male to be infected with human papilloma virus. The human papilloma virus is one of the things that they're worried about this having. This problem. Types, and this human papilloma virus can lead.
Yeah.
I'm not a medical person, guys, so don't take anything I said just face value. So I may not be saying it in the right way. I'm just putting the basic information out there, and I'm not endorsing it one way or another. The types more often associated with cervical cancer. So if a male is uncircumcised, he is more likely to, the lady is more likely to have human papilloma virus, which can lead to cervical cancer. Now, don't go crazy out there if your man is not circumcised. Just do your research, clean his thingy up, or if he cares to go get it cut off now, he can get it cut off. That must be painful.
No, I don't even think. Yeah, I think it's.
No, they can do it as an adult.
Isn't
My ex-husband was circumcised when he was 21. No, he said he was circumcised at 21. It was very difficult, but you get through it like anything else.
I know one of my
Little bust
nephews did
stitches,
that.
but you know, you
All
get
right.
over it.
Interesting.
Oopsie.
Thank
You
you.
gotta have self-control.
Okay, so interesting conversation.
I
That
didn't
one was
know.
spicy.
Let me put my disclaimer. I didn't know him then.
All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to go into a special. We're going to do our Dear Help Team segment, and then later on, we're going to do a special segment with Miss Dion Brown Harrison, and Harrison is going to have. Let me just clue the audience is. Harrison is the mother-in-law of Dion Brown Harrison. So I lost my manners there for a little bit. Okay. So they're related in by law. Yeah. So you're going to do something on, what do you have on retirement? Okay, and you're going to do something on career opportunities?
Yes. Correct.
Okay. So we're going to be right back.
Visit Elias Restaurant, a unique Greek Caribbean fusion restaurant where the food is heavenly, the service divine, and the ambience mesmerizing. Enjoy bakes and saltfish, roti, jerk chicken, curry chicken, stew fish, oxtail, curry goat, stew turkey, pea soup, cowfoot soup, sour beer, ginger beer, Slovaki dinners, clubhouse sandwiches, and so much more. Visit Elias Restaurant, located at 3310 King Street in Toronto, Canada.
I'm Trish.
I'm announcing.
I'm Irma.
And I'm Caroline.
And we are the Caribbean House Club. Alright, welcome back to Caribbean House Talk, and we're now going to be doing our Dear Help Team section. So we're still fanning ourselves from those last discussions from Spicy Dish. But now we're going to go to our Dear Harrison, who have something special for us on retirement.
Yes, retirement is very important. How much do you need to save for retirement? That's the question. One should aim to replace 70% to 90% of your annual pre-retirement income through savings and Social Security. For example, a retiree who earns an average of $63,000 per year before retirement should expect to need $44,000 to $57,000 per year in retirement. Does that happen? No. They should know a little bit about traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and simple IRA. Contributions would be made on an after-tax basis. You have to create goals, just a personal list. Expand your knowledge, bring biking and walking, etc. In retirement, time is capital. Making decisions about how to spend your time in the most productive way is the most critical thing you can do, but you must have a certain level of self-awareness. Learn the technology and social networking and volunteering. Will your income be greater than your expenses? What to do with the money in your company's saving plan? Roll it over into an IRA. Get portfolio in order. Healthcare and other finances in order. Are you near 65? Sign up for Medicare and figure in supplemental plans. Just get a running start. That's retirement.
That's retirement.
Yes.
So what did you say about the 57,000? What it would take? Like, so if you were making, you said something like you would need 57,000. So just repeat that part for me.
Yes. You should aim to replace 70 to 90% of your annual pre-retirement income through savings and Social Security. For example, a retiree who earns an average of $63,000 per year before retirement should expect to need $44,000 to $57,000 per year in retirement. So if you're making $63,000, you have to. That's when you really have to, start bridging the gap and making sure a certain amount is taken out of your, your paycheck and all that in order to, because that's what you're going to need to live by. That's why we can't retire.
So you basically
because
you
up
need
to 57,
of your pre-retirement salary.
Yeah, in order to
After
retire.
retirement, every year to keep the standard of living.
Yeah.
That's interesting to know, because I would think, okay, well, I should be finished raising my kids, my house should be paid for, or I should have no mortgage or what have you. But that's not always the case. But I'm thinking I wouldn't need half of that. Half near that, but this is interesting.
Yeah. That's why you see in some marriages you have the man brown bagging it because all that counts. He doesn't have to buy lunch. He doesn't have to do all these things. That's where the preparation starts. But do we do it?
No.
Because there are sort of things that get in the mix there that we probably can't even do it even if we wanted.
No. And that's why most people can't retire. Because
one of the things I learned about retirement, my first career was as a broker at Merrill Lynch many years ago. And when my mentor at the time, he said to me, Dion, you have to create multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
You never rely on your main income as your only income. You create other alternative incomes that bring in money while you have your main source of income. And as you lead towards retirement, those multiple streams of income become even more important because you're used to a certain lifestyle again, and we want to live that lifestyle in our retirement stage. And if you have to have that type of income annually and you're not prepared, then some of those multiple streams of income can help with it. Whereas traditional savings and the Social Security and retirement funds may not add up. Those other incomes like real estate and a business that's continuously revolving and generating income annually. Just anything that could bring you additional income and will take minimum effort from you.
I'm a financial dummy. I'll be honest and say. I mean, make investments and so forth, but that gives me a lot to think about. And maybe I have to rethink a little bit about retirement because I'm not that far from it. So, that's interesting. All right, well, we have with us today Miss Dion Brown Harrison. And Dion, you tell us a little bit about yourself. You are from Exceptional Staffing Group.
Yes, so Exceptional Staffing Group is my own staffing firm that I've had in business since 2015. Prior to that, I've had staffing business prior, but economy and so forth, you had to close the business and start over. But I am a entrepreneurial first. I'm very entrepreneurial in my mindset, coupled with my corporate background of finance, government district, and 24 years in human resources. I teach human resources at Long Island University, CW Post Campus.
You're a professor.
I'm an adjunct. I wouldn't mind becoming faculty, but no. Honestly, my mindset is so diverse. I have multiple things going on at one time. So one of the things my partner and I, Melissa Monroe, does, we do a quarterly outreach. So one of my calling, I feel that I was given is to help others. Human resources help me to help others to fulfill their career goals, as simple as just feed their families. So once I mastered the craft and I saw that, wow, I'm really good at this and I enjoy it. Because I believe everyone should enjoy what they do. Don't go to work. If you don't enjoy it, then it's work. If you enjoy it, it's a career. So there is a difference between the two. And part of my outreach is we teach young people, and we also teach people who've been downsized and now they have to reinvent themselves and create a new career because of the economic changes that we're going through. And I teach them how to interview for the jobs, how to write a resume, how to take the skill set from the job posting and use the language in your resume if you have that skill set. Because there's a thing called search engine optimization, and when we on the other side do a search through our applicant tracking system, we're putting in keywords. So if you're a registered nurse and you're also doing field visits or you're doing case management, those terms have to be on your resume, because when I do my search, your name will populate to the top. So if there's 100 resumes in the queue, I can only speak to 5 or 6 people, and I can only present 3 for the interview. So your name, your resume should have certain key components, and my workshop teaches you to do that. Mel and I, our workshop is interactive, so we have question and answer, we do mock interview, we do role play, we have, as I said, from high school seniors, we're actually getting some high school juniors all the way up to graduate school. We teach young people why you need to do internships. What's the difference between going from undergrad straight through to graduate school, the difference in your compensation versus going to get your undergrad, work for 3 or 4 years, and then go on to graduate school, and why I could pay someone who has 3 or 4 years experience, 6-figure, versus someone who has just a few internships, maybe slightly above an undergrad. You got to always remember, schools are institutions. Institutions are there to make money. They're going to say, yeah, we have this great program. You can get your MBA in 5 years, 6 years. And we run to those programs because we think it's the best. But the reality of it is, a lot of people choose a career and it may not even be what they love to do. And that's why a lot of students waste money and time and energy jumping around careers and trying to decide for. But there's another element that has occurred after 2008 when the economy really went down. And that's where companies are folding up and they're moving out of state and they're shifting. People are losing their jobs left and right due to relocation, due to, downsizing, and you have to reinvent yourself. So we teach people how to reinvent themselves, how to take the skills you have and take it into a new skill set, how to gain certain certification, like if you're trying to get into human resources and you have management experience, you've hired in the past, you've managed people, get your HR certification, and that will help elevate you with a skill that you can lend itself to the role in HR, although you've never worked in HR per se. So I teach people how to do these things. In addition to that, my staffing agency, which is primarily focusing on healthcare placement, but we also place corporate entities. So marketing, finance, administrative. We try not to close the door on any segment because I've built my 24 years of human resources on working with so many different areas of business, and I feel, you know what, I have a lot of relationships out there that I can tap into. Right now we have the Legislative Controller's Office out in Nassau County has internships for our young people, and there's a deadline of April 6th to apply. So there's a lot going on that I'm exposed to, and I try to expose it to, the neighbors, friends, colleagues, my coworkers, my clients. I just feel like information's given to you. What are you going to do? You have skills. Why take it to the grave? No. Right. Give it back. and by giving back, you're blessed with a lot of opportunities. So it works twofold, and if it's not me, it's my kids or my grandson. So
Good way of thinking.
yeah, so my husband and I, we're in partnership with Exceptional Staffing Group. We're in the process of getting it to the next phase, and for anyone who have any employment needs, please reach out to me. My website is www.exceptionalstaffinggroup.com, and that's exceptional, EXCEPTIONAL. So there is a difference in the spelling. Just,
What about a phone number?
I could be reached at 516-902-1605. Feel free to email me at dbrown@exceptionalstaffinggroup.com. That's dbrown@exceptionalstaffinggroup.com. And I'll reach out to you. Send me a copy of your resume or just have a conversation.
So, Dion, I have a question. So, is this just, it's not just Long Island based, right?
No, it's global.
So, okay.
Yeah,
So,
it's global.
all right. So, the job search can be global and you can reach people, you can connect them, you know, to other places other than New York. 'Cause
Yes.
That's very important.
Okay.
So
Very
the
good.
U.S., the U.K., Shanghai, China, parts of Europe, a little
about
bit
Canada?
of Mexico. Canada,
Not so much.
we're working on Canada. Canada's a little, they're in their class of their own. But Canada does have a nursing program where they will bring people from Mexico who have their nursing degrees. If you're from Mexico or you're from Canada, you can come to the United States and work as a nurse on what they call a TN. A TN certification, you don't get caught up in the, that whole executive law where you have to go and do the lottery system. All you have to do is renew your certificate every 3 years. And you can have employment opportunity in the U.S. indefinite if you choose to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that are out there that a lot of people are unaware of, and they have families from different parts of the world that they can help once they gain the knowledge. Exceptional staffing is exceptional because we want to bring something different to the table instead of the traditional staffing.
All right.
You know.
Well, you can see Deanne's information on the screen below. Thank you so much. Now, we did some things out of sort a little bit here where we came back, we did a special segments, and now we're going to do the Dear Help Team question. And usually we get Dear Help Team questions, like people will email me or somebody may just ask me a question because they know we do the segment, and I'll just put it on the table for the team to weigh in on. And the Dear Help Team segments are not usually the spicy dish type of thing. They're just, interesting questions. And a lot of times educational things. This one is, since transgender people can change their sex, is it okay for people to change their skin color? And I'll tell you where that came from. There was a lady in Germany, I think it was, white, blonde hair, blue eyes, and she did something medically to change her skin color. We see the opposite where people, there's nothing new in the black community where you see people bleaching, doing skin bleaching, and to the point where some troubling looking in the sense that the person literally goes from being black to a white skin. And is that okay? Do you find that weird? Do you think it's unethical? I mean, what's your feeling on that?
I think it's unhealthy. Why would you do that? You have to put stuff into your system to get that result. Or it's something that they're just rubbing on.
No, I'm talking about the person literally, their skin get white. And I'm not even talking vitiligo because that's something you can't control. It's just one of those things that happen.
You mean it just get white
happens.
like that?
Yeah.
Or it's something that they
They're
do?
They're doing something with chemicals
yeah.
to bleach out their skin, to take out the melanin, or to bleach out the skin, the darkness.
That's unhealthy.
There's a guy from your country who was a baseball player, and he literally went from this color
From
table
black?
to white. I mean, whole color.
I forget his name.
So,
Sammy Sosa.
Sammy Sosa.
I thought
Yeah.
so.
No,
really?
Yeah,
did.
well,
he's
has-
literally white now.
he's
Vibes
literally
Cartel
white.
did it from Jamaica, the reggae artist. He went from
was
darker
that?
than Vibes Cartel. Vibes
Oh.
Cartel was darker than me, and he's lily white. I mean, he's in jail now, but I don't know how he gets a bleaching product. but he
Are we
still
sure
gets
that's
it.
that vitiligo?
You mean he
No,
went
no. He
into
bleached. He started bleaching before he went to jail with whatever incarceration, whatever he did, and he's still bleaching in jail. He looks totally different.
You mean he takes stuff into his system?
So what? No, I think his is topical. They have topical ways of doing it, but they also have through your bloodstream way of doing it too, and that's when you become like white,
Really white.
and you can't deal with the sun. But I think not just to your point, Irma, not just the unhealthy piece of it, but the psychological piece of it. Psychologically, why would someone in their mind want to transform themselves in a way that you're jeopardizing your health? You don't look appealing anymore because some of them look very strange.
You look weird.
Yeah, they look very.
And the
very
features are
strange.
still, black looking, but
Right.
the skin is.
And they just look weird. And why would you do that? Like, what is it that your background, and it goes back to our history of who that individual is. Somebody may have said to them, oh, you're too black, or you're too dark, or you're not white enough, or you're not this. Our society perpetuates a lot of that light, dark thing so much that it gets to some of us more than others. And some of our lifestyles of where we come from, our families, perpetuating that and pounding it in our heads, I think has a lot to do with why people do the things they do. And bleaching has a lot to do with it. Very sad.
Did Michael Jackson do that? What did he do?
He could have got
I don't know if
caught.
it was vitiligo and he ended up with something, or whether it was truly that.
Yeah, we'll never know that real story.
Because
but
there was one rumor, I don't know if it was true to it, but they were saying that there was a family issue with that. It's somebody else in their family, an older generation, so it might be, I don't know.
I think that it might not be viewed as dramatic when we go and we get a perm for our hair. There's a lot
But the
of
nose and the
chemicals there.
features are still negroid or what have you.
Yeah, but we still have, back in the days I had it, not anymore, where you go to the salon and you chemically process your hair because you want to look a certain way. So if you want to do it, it's your body, it's your life.
Well, I used to process my hair because I have tough hair. My hair is, and I can comb it every
Well, that's
day.
your reason.
I have to
That's
wash
your
it
reasoning
too.
behind it. They
Right.
must have a reason that we
But
need to
other than
respect.
that, if it's for looks, it wouldn't work for me because I don't need it to look pretty.
So why did you do it? I'm sorry.
Because I need to get it looking.
Well, manageable.
Well, you
Yeah.
can manage your hair. You can manage
Manage
your
it.
curly hair
Yeah.
with.
It's been
She
managed
didn't want
now.
to.
Well,
Like,
I
she
decided
said,
to
You
So
have
those
a different.
people, those
you have a
people
different
have a choice.
Hair is versatile though.
Yeah.
You have a different texture, so you can understand.
No,
If
she
you
has
have
It's not
one
even
texture,
the same
she has
thing,
one
you know,
with different
because
texture.
we style our hair different ways. We can flip it and have it straight one day, have it natural. Wear it half and half,
Okay.
you know, a little coil. We can do what we want. I think that's totally different than
That's
when
why
you're
I
talking
said
about
it's
a
less
skin
dramatic.
bleaching.
But if that's what
You
the
know?
person wants,
Yeah.
and when they look at
but-
themselves in the mirror, I'm not saying that it doesn't have psychological problems, that the person may not have psychological problem, but then we are trying to tell a person that it's okay for me to go and relax my hair with chemicals, but it's not okay for you to get your skin a little bit lighter.
Well,
What's the
his is not
difference?
A little bit. His is a lot. It's
That's
very
more
dramatic.
psychological.
That's-
Amalfi, it's not
Yeah.
psychological for me to go and straighten my hair today.
No.
Okay?
For you, it's
no,
not.
No. Think of it, even in a big picture, it's not a psychological thing, it's to change your hair. But when you want to change the physical aspect of your body and your skin, there is something that you're thinking you don't like about yourself. And our hair is not a permanent change either, because it's versatile. We can switch it back and forth any way we want. A skin color change means you've made some kind of decision, whatever it is. I don't like to be dark, I don't like this, whatever, and you now want to permanently change the way your physical aspects are in your body.
We
Your skin
permanently
color.
change hair all the time.
I mean, white folks tan their skin. I don't think anything weird with that because that tan can go away. But this is what makes the white woman, blonde hair woman, took something that I'm not a medical person, so I don't know how she did it, but she took something that literally turned her, and it was not a natural looking black, but it was very black.
Yeah, it was very.
And
black.
there she is with the blue eyes and stuff, and it was really weird. So I do think there's something psychologically going on there with an individual that goes through those. We can do a tan. We can palm our hair or what have you, but we can decide tomorrow to cut it back and look as beautiful as Miss White's hair with a natural afro. So, so that's not the same thing as somebody saying, for whatever reason, I don't like what I see in the mirror, and I'm going to do something to drastically change permanently my skin color. That there's definitely something wrong with that, but it goes back to another thing, even in terms of psychological, in the sense that what is going on in the world that people are feeling so badly about themselves that they don't want to do that. Because that has to have some sort of a problem or some drawback down the road. Health-wise, there's no way you can be doing that to yourself, and there's not something coming up for you later on in terms of impacting your health.
But even if nothing happens psychologically, it's still so drastic that I go deeper and say, why is it? Even Michael Jackson is an example. He's a public figure. Everybody knows his story. He never liked himself. He thought he was ugly. His nose was
the nose got straight out. Yeah.
You know. So he's and plastic surgery, like anything, it could be addicting, and some people have more addictive personality than others. So he probably tried one and kept going with it. I mean, my cousin used to wear false eyelashes, and if you knock on her door and her eyelashes are on, she'd run to get the eyelash.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, to put it on before she could come and open her own door. And you know, so some people have addictive personalities, so if they are not happy with themselves from a psychological perspective, they're going to take whatever it is that's out there and drastically rearrange or change or try to permanently change it. But why is the problem? The question.
There have to be something.
Yes.
Spiritually, I mean, God wanted us to be this skin.
Right.
That's why
I
He
wanted
made
you
us
to be
skin.
that skin.
But why would I change what God wanted? You know what?
But not everybody is religious.
We're not going to understand
Not
why.
everybody is religious and they may not care about that.
But we're not going to understand why, because I remember talking to my siblings. There's 8 of us, right? I'm not light skinned, but I'm the brownest one out of all my siblings. And they always had a problem with the fact that I'm brown and they're dark, and therefore there's, you know, and look at that. So can you imagine somebody who grew up with, and I have friends that were told, oh, you're black. My Indian friends, they have it worse than we do, I think. To this day, she's dark. She goes, oh, I'm brown, I'm dark. You know, my families, they say such mean things to me. You know, oh, my niece is light, so half her battle is over. You know, they say things because they believe it, and it's perpetuated in society, and it becomes deep-rooted into that individual. So, yes, people come to a point where they don't like themselves the way they naturally look. They want to look like who in their family that was loved and liked and everyone catered to and wanted to be, and they want to mimic that. So there's a lot of reasons why, you know, people do the things they do, and I just feel that it's very deep rooted. Even the lady with the blonde hair, blue eyes in Germany.
Right.
Why the heck would you want to be black? You know, you were born white.
And she was a pretty lady. There's nothing wrong with her.
But there's
We'll
something.
get a tan, for God's sake.
There's something about being black that
attracts.
she is
has an
attracted her.
attraction.
It was something she was around. It's something deeper than skin. You know, when they say skin deep,
Right.
it's really deeper.
And
than
there was the other
skin.
lady who didn't go through that drastic a thing, but she had changed her hair and was going around for years as being black until her family basically outed her and said, "You're not black. You don't have a
You mean
black."
that lady that
I didn't
was
see that
on
one.
TV
Yeah.
last 2 years ago?
She's an African American studies
Yeah, I
professor.
remember.
Right.
I
No,
remember
I
that.
found that very insulting.
Oh, wow.
I really did. I almost find that more. I don't necessarily find the person, the German lady, to be insulting. I feel sad, like something must be wrong. With that one, I felt because that was based on a whole
And I
hoax.
think she kept her skin dark, tan,
Right.
makeup, whatever. so
The
that
hair was
she
carried
could
more.
fit in.
Pinky
Yeah,
She
but
was
come on, look at the other side of it. How many of I have family members that are lily white, and they made sure they stayed lily white and blonde hair and brown hazel eyes, and they didn't tell anyone that my uncle was their dad because they want to fit
Wow.
into society. So it goes both ways. Back in the 60s, there were some light-skinned, African Americans that fit right in the mulattoes, and they played it off like they were white. Because of the times that we were in and the restrictions, they were able to get ahead from that. And it had nothing to do with, I think deep down they wrestled with themselves and they had to make a decision. We could sit here and say whatever we want until we walk in those individual shoes. We don't know why Sammy Soto did what he did. We didn't walk in his shoe because in DR, I've been to DR enough times with my friends, and when I get there, I said, "Whoa, people here are dark. They're darker than me." Because every DR I see is her complexion or lighter majority that come to America. But let me tell you, there are some dark people that are, and
a lot of
most
them
of
have
the ones that I
they
know
don't say
actually
they're
are
black.
darker.
Right.
But yeah, and they won't say they're black.
But
and
they
that,
were taught
again,
that.
it's the same thing like here. That whole light and dark. Same thing in Cuba.
And a lot of them have Haitian roots.
Good
Well, a
hair,
lot of
bad
people don't
hair.
realize a lot of Dominicans have Haitian roots.
Yeah.
They have a grandparents, a great grandparents, somebody that was Haitian. Black folks, but they,
And Haitians are mixed with Africans.
mulattonized, if you will.
But
They became
you have
mulattoes.
the Indian side too, and
Yeah.
the
Well, don't
Spaniards
say that
came in.
because Dominicans would be like, no, I'm not Haitian.
Oh yeah,
You're dark.
they
What's
have
the
yeah.
difference?
And
They
they're not
share the
Haitians,
same-
but they have some
They share the
Haitian-
same island. That's what kills me.
Right, they're not Haitians, but I'm saying they have some Haitian ancestry,
They do.
some of them. So, whew, good topic. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to do a little news segment, and then we'll call it a day for this segment. All right, we'll be right back.
Visit Elias Restaurant, a unique Greek Caribbean fusion restaurant where the food is heavenly, the service divine, and the ambience mesmerizing. Enjoy bakes and saltfish, roti, jerk chicken, curry chicken, stew fish, oxtail, curry goat, stew turkey, pea soup, cow soup, sorrel beer, ginger beer, Slovaki dinners, clubhouse sandwiches, and so much more. Visit Elias Restaurant, located at 3310 King Street in Toronto, Canada.
I'm Trish,
I'm a mountain.
I'm Irma.
And I'm Caroline.
and we are the Caribbean House Talk. Welcome back to Caribbean House Talk. Interesting segments earlier. Huh? We're gonna just touch on a news item that I saw this week that I thought was kind of interesting. Heineken, the beer company, had a commercial, which many are citing as being very racist. The commercial had the Heineken beer is being pushed down through several, pushed down this alleyway, this true way. And along the way, they're sitting several dark people, African American, black people. And at the end, it reached to a white person, and they got it, and he said, sometimes light is better, or something to that effect. Don't quote me in the exact wording. And then, of course, Heineken pulled back to say they didn't mean it that way. How do you not mean that way?
Well, what did they
What
say
other-
that meant? I didn't see it.
In other words,
I don't know.
the beer is being pushed past
From dark
black
to
person,
light.
black person, black person, white person gets in and say, light is better.
So were
Sometimes
they
light is better.
promoting a light, a Heineken beer?
Light
what
Heineken. Yeah, light Heineken.
Right, but why have the black
But
people
you
in
gave
there?
it from dark
Yeah.
From
to
dark to
light.
light.
Right.
So this
showing
is
the
the global
gradation of the
message.
bear.
Yeah.
Right, there
yeah.
was a message there, and
Yes.
we saw this. There was another thing that happened with what was the company where there was a racist ad with the
Gap,
with the
with
monkey.
the little boy.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
The
that.
cutest
monkey in the
monkey
jungle.
in the jungle or something like that.
And what I'm
It's about the
concerned
same
about,
thing.
and I'm going to say to you, folks that are watching, here's me. That was actually one of my with the beer that I would. If I go to a party and you have a Heineken, I'll grab a Heineken.
when companies are engaging in that kind of behavior, I personally, you can do what you want, but I personally would not be buying that beer. Okay? And until people sort of made that conscious effort to let these companies be hit in the pocketbook when they do stuff like this, because I think this is starting to pay off for them. The coolest monkey in the jungle probably sparked some sales for them, because people who didn't even probably pay attention to them before, though they heard about it. So now you have another company pulling this. So what do? Watch where your money is being spent. Don't just go out there and people do these things and don't let it be consequences. I personally would not be buying a Heineken beer. And until they start to feel that there's going to be a backlash financially, they're going to keep doing this. There's nowhere else to take that. Going past these black people, a white person getting light is sometimes better.
Yeah.
What else are you trying to do there? And so we got to make it that racist ads like that don't pay. Is my feeling.
And you know
that's
what?
just my opinion.
And
you're welcome to yours.
Think about it too. In advertising, these things, these commercials, they go through many different people. Somebody had to have said, don't put this on because it's not going to be taken well. But they do these things on purpose. That's the whole thing.
And somebody must have said, try it.
To get, while they may lose some, they may gain a whole lot more. And that's why they do it. They take a risk because it'll get our name out there. No publicity is bad publicity. You know, that kind of thing. So yeah,
somebody gave that nod.
Yeah,
someone
did. They chose to ignore it on purpose because they wanted it out there. They want that kind of publicity with the hope of gaining, a whole market, a racist, whatever market, And you're right. When these things happen, we do have to take a stand. It's not good enough for them to go and say, well, I apologize. We didn't know. You did know. You did it on purpose. And we have to take a stand to make these things stop. Whether it be, as you said, stop
Don't make it profitable. I will not be drinking a Heineken beer. I can't tell you not to drink one. I'm not going to be drinking a Heineken beer. Okay? And if I have a party and I'm sending someone to get me my stash of beers for my I'm going to let them know they can't buy Heineken beer and bring it in my house. So that's where it starts. Okay. And then you got to make it unpopular for them. But that's our news things in the news today. And it was really wonderful having you, Deanne, in this edition of Caribbean House Talk. We hope you come back and visit us because I think you really brought a lot to the show.
Thank you.
You're really dynamic.
I did forget one thing to mention. May 5th, this coming May 5th at G's Restaurant. G's in Queens. I want to say they are in Rosedale. They will be having my 4th community outreach, which is called the Power of Networking, and it'll be from 1 to 5. I'll circulate the information, reminder, but that's my 4th community outreach with my partner Melincia Monroe, and we'll be at G's Restaurant. G's is a Caribbean Jamaican restaurant.
The food is great.
The food is excellent. The ambiance, the setup, and we will have buffet. So, but that's where we'll be.
But what are you guys doing at the outreach? What is it?
So it's the Power of Networking. So we will be teaching you how to write the resumes, how the different types of resumes, chronological, functional. We'll do the mock interviews. I'll have all the questions that employers will present. Why did you leave your last employer? What was the culture like at your last employer? Did you and your your manager get along? And what was your reason for why are you looking to come to my company? So there's a lot that goes into those questions. If you don't answer them the right way, you're not going to be considered.
So is there a fee to this? Or?
So we are, the way it's working out for us, we had a fee in the past, but we were picked up by another company and we're kind of going back and forth with them. At this particular one, I'm not sure if there'll be a fee yet. I will let you guys know the end of the week. I'll know.
Okay. So we have the address of G's Restaurant and the screen below, and I've eaten there many times. The food is amazing, and QX Television is going to be on hand filming this event for Deanne. But we had a wonderful segment, ladies, and again, like I said, you added so much to the show that we absolutely want to have you back as much as possible. Consider this your home away from home. Anytime you're welcome to come and sit with us.
Thank you.
And we thank you, audience, for watching us on Caribbean House Talk on QX Television, and we hope to have many more of these segments coming your way, and hope you enjoy them. We know that we do bring some spicy dish topics and our their health themed topics. We really dig down deep to get some of these things for you, but it's a pleasure doing that. You can always contact us by writing to contact us at qxtv.com. That's contact us at qxtv.com. And we'll be happy to look at your suggestions or your comments, and maybe it might be something we use on the show, and we'll send you a gift if we use it. You might even end up being on as a guest host on QXTV Caribbean House Talk. So send those questions in. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.